Welcome aboard, I'm your host, TCG Pirate King, aka the Gaming Governor, and today we're going to be ranking all of the blue cards in the first wave of One Piece TCG. This list will include all blue cards from both the Seven Warlords starter deck, as well as Romance Dawn, our first set. As always, if you like this video and wish to see more content like it, remember to tap the subscribe button to join the crew and not be left behind on the Grand Line. Alright, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so to start things off, we're going to go over the rules of the tier list. So what we're looking at here is we are looking at 1 billion, 500 million, 300 million, 100 million, 50 million, 30 million, and 50 berries. So this is basically our bounty list. We're going to be talking about which of these cards are going to be ranked up on the list and basically assigning them a bounty. This bounty is going to represent everything overall about the card. Basically, does the card have cool artwork? Is it a good effect? Is it a useful card in the game? Are people liking this card? Does it just jive really well? Is it balanced in the meta? Is it just everything about it? It's completely opinion based, and hey, who knows? Maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't. If you like my opinions, then give a like. If you don't, then make sure you tell me how stupid I am in the comments section below. So, without any further ado, let's go over the list. We've got Kaido coming up first, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Kaido card. And that is going to be this beautiful guy right here. He is one of the leaders. He is 4 life. He is a strike attribute with 5,000 power, and he's blue-purple, so he's going to be allowing you to play blue and purple decks. Now, leaders can still be judged, even though they are deck leaders, and they could technically be in their own little tier list altogether, and maybe I will do a all-leader tier list separately from just going over the colors. But since this is a blue tier list, we're going to go ahead and see what this card brings to blue. Now, it says, with 4 Emperors and Animal Kingdom Pirates, your effect is 1 Dawn on your turn once per turn. When your opponent's character is KO'd, add 1 card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So this is going to continue to ramp you throughout the game, and blue definitely needs ramp. So honestly, even if you were to play a mono blue deck, I would probably rate this pretty well. I think that straight out the gate, this Kaido is actually going to go up into the... Yeah, actually, we're going to bring it up here into the 500 million. Now, this is going to be a tier list of must-includes. I'm actually going to bump him down because he's not a must-include. You don't have to play him in every blue deck. To be completely honest, being a leader, and I think being a leader should be a little more optional and based on your flavor for the deck, I'm going to top him off at 300 million, and that's basically saying he's a 5-star card. He can't do wrong. He can't go wrong. Nothing can go wrong. He's just a wonderful card. It's nice to get a little bit of ramp in colors that have a really nice top end. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on, and with the next card in the list, we're looking at Crocodile. Now, Killer Croc here is a leader with the same life, same power, same color, so he's bringing the same thing to the color blue and purple, but his effect is for 1 Dawn. When you activate an event, you may draw 1 card if you have 4 or less cards in your hand and haven't drawn a card using this leader's effect during this turn. So again, this is actually going to be bringing draw into the deck. It's nice to see draw on a blue leader because draw is something that blue definitely could use in this game. And for that reason alone, I'm going to probably rate it pretty high. I don't think that it's as good as Kaido is, but it's going to go here. It's going to go here in the 4-star. It's good in most cases. If you don't have a lot of draw in your deck, which blue tends to need some draw, but you are getting a little bit of draw from the purple as well. I know we're ignoring those colors, but it does add purple into the mix for blue, which is pretty powerful in itself. So for the sake of, I'm going to say that Kaido is better than Croc, but they're both 300 mil bounties. Moving on. So we do have Arlong here. Arlong is a 4-drop, 5,000 power. That's pretty awesome right off the bat. His effect is Dawn 1. You may rest this character and choose one card from your opponent's hand. Your opponent reveals that card. If the revealed card is an event, place one card from your opponent's life area at the bottom of the owner's deck. I'm not a huge fan of this effect. It's only if you get lucky you get the event off. As far as the information you gain from it, I'm probably not going to be activating Arlong's effect very much. However, I can see if people want to play him for his 5,000 power. 5,000 power is always the good starting location for a power level. And I could see playing a 5,000 on turn 2 if you had 4. Turn 3, though, if you went first, it's not the best. You probably want to play something better around there, so probably going to put him right around here. He's aggressive, but I would say that he's good in most cases. He's not necessarily terrific. He's just good in most cases. Now, Alvida is our next card, and her effect... Now, I'm actually a fan of this card quite a lot because of her 2,000 power that she can discard and give to your leader and your other characters. But I like her ability also when she's attacking. You may trash one card from your hand and return one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. Now, you're going to be doing this in the early game, and you can force them to spend all their mana trying to replay their cards while you're getting ready to play even bigger threats like your Mihawks. Now, in the meantime, she does do the plus 2,000. I'm not saying that she's a top ender, like she's not a 5-star, she's not a 300 million, but I like the fact that she can help disrupt your opponent. She's going to force your opponent to rethink how they play, because do they really want to just keep throwing things out onto the field for no reason? I'm going to say that she's actually good in most cases. You don't need to play her in every deck, but if you were to play a copy of her, I don't think that she would let you down. Next, we have Virgo. This is 5 for a 7, and he is just pretty artwork. I can give him points for the pretty artwork, actually. I am a sucker for that. So I'm going to throw him right there. He can't go below 50 mil, though. I would say he's okay. I like playing effects personally, and I can see where 7,000 comes in handy, because then you're forcing your opponent to discard 3 cards on average, sometimes 2, just to be able to survive that hit. You're basically getting yourself that damage, but I'm usually wanting to play something with a little more oomph for the Dawn cost. Anyway, we have Don Krieg. He's 4 for 6, and this is a lot more what I'm talking about. I actually prefer this to see, I've already forgotten Virgo. I like it. Yes, it is 1,000 less for 1 less, but that 1 less does make a huge difference, because again, you can play this on turn 2 if you're on the defensive play, which is nice, whereas the Virgo, you're going to play turn 3 always. So that's a key difference right there. So I like Krieg alone for that. I would probably rank him up here, but I don't think that he's as good as Alvida. So now we've got Virgo coming down so that Krieg can come in here. Let's see here. Ooh, I like the artwork on this one, so we're going to talk about this one. This is Crocodile, and this is a 7 for 7,000. He's a blue, special. The 7 Warlords of the Sea Baroque Works. When he enters, he has Banish. When this card deals damage, the target card is trashed without activating its trigger. That is an excellent ability, because everybody wants to play trigger cards. Dawn times 1. You got to pay the 1. Give blue events in your hand -1 cost. This is going to turn all your 2 costs and single costs, all your single costs into free. I like this card. I'm not going to play it in every deck. It completely depends on how many events you're actually playing, I would say. And if you're not playing a minimum of 10 events in your deck, then I probably wouldn't play this card. So this is a good example of actually defining the good in some cases category, which would be Don Krieg. I actually like Don Krieg quite a lot. I would probably, see, now I'm wanting to put him up above. That's why I'm going to leave him there. I'm going to put him up above Crocodile, but I'm going to leave him right there for that. We have Ooh, next we're doing Chi. We're doing this guy, Gecko Moria. 4 for 5,000. Now that is, again, an excellent stat. I love paying 4 for 5,000 because this is going to be a hittable thing on turn 2. So absolutely love the power stats. 7 Warlords of the Sea, Thriller Bark. Now it says this character gains double attack, meaning it will deal 2 damage cards off of the opponent's life if you have 5 or more cards in your hand. Now, blue has a problem with draw. In fact, even though you would think blue being the draw mechanic in most games, it's currently the deck that suffers the most with draw unless you play specific key cards. And unfortunately, one of those key cards has waifu tax, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But outside of that, it's going to be very difficult to keep that 5 cards or more in your hand. However, when you do, this is the kind of thing that can completely change the game in your favor. I'm not going to say that it's a put in all your decks. It's a use in most cases. It can't do wrong. But I'm going to say it's a most cases kind of card. He does really well. I'm not saying that I would play Alvida over him, though. In fact, I'm going to rank him a little bit higher over these guys. And I think... yeah, this is about how I'm going to play this out. I actually do like Alvida more than Arlong, specifically for her ability over Arlong's ability, but Arlong's stats are, of course, better than Alvida, so they're kind of interchangeable, where I think Gecko Moria just totally trounces the other two at this stage in their life. So, we are moving into Caesar Clown. This is, for anybody who likes little Batman knowledge, this is based off of Caesar Romero, who played the Joker in the original Adam West TV show. So that's kind of what Oda was going after there. This is a 4 for 5,000. Again, I like it. I like 4 for 5,000. I'm going to say 4 for 5,000 is probably an instant 3 stars in my mind, because I will pay that all the time in this current meta. Now, of course, as the game moves on, we might get a little more efficient, so there might become like a 3 mana for 5,000. Oh, maybe there already is. Maybe we'll get to that. Did I miss one? Haha, that'd be amazing. That means on turn... ooh, yeah, it would always be turn 2. If I can get one on turn 1, though, oh, that'd be killer. Anyway... this guy, play 1 smiley from your deck, then shuffle your deck. Now, you have to play smileys for this to work. You have to kill this in order for it to matter. There's very little you can do in order to sacrifice yourself right now, so I'm going to say that this dude is all the way down here. He sucks. Now, he is, of course, a 4 for 5,000, so we're going to put him up here, but I just don't like his effect. He has no effect. In fact, look at that. His effect is so useless that I had to put him all the way down here. It's actually sad. He's going to make me have to move people up. He's making me so angry I'm moving people up. Look at this. Look at that. You see what I did, guys? He forced me to move people up. He did that. I hated it. I hated it. But we did it. We're moving on now. That was just such a bad card. I don't like it. You have to play... I can see how Smiley is useful, but... I just hate that you have to KO the card. I want to attack with that card. I don't want to lose that card. Dracul Mihawk. 7 Warlords of the Sea. 7 Warlords of the Abs. That's for sure. My God. Can you imagine? Whoever was drawing this did my boy very handsome. On play, place 1 character with a cost of 7 or less at the bottom of your owner's deck. This is the single best removal in the game. Just hands down. The only problem with it is that it's a 9 cost. So it's a top end. But that's why I'm saying that the Kaido is so useful, because it helps ramp you up into that top end a lot faster. Still though, Dracul Mihawk, I've seen it in a lot of tournament decks as well. So I'm thinking that this one's going to do really well. I've seen the Japanese copy selling for as low as about $7, $8. I'm not sure what's going to happen to this copy when America and other countries get their hands on the English release and other languages releasal. I want to see what happens to the value of some of these cards, because they may go up, they may go down because of some of the rarity of some of the pulls. But this is a card that I would really like to get my hands on a playset. This does a lot of work. You don't have to play 4. You could. Yeah, you could. You don't have to. You could actually play 1. You could play 2. But I'm going to say, I think we're looking at the first one, guys. I think we're looking at the first one. Bam! We started talking about money on this card. That's how cool this card is. We were talking about the price. We want to buy it. We want to buy it so much we're ready to go. Oh, Dracula Mihawk, Mr. Abs. Mr. Abs, don't cross me with that blade, man. So we're going to be moving on to Mihawk Jr. And I like to call him Mihawk Jr. Oh, I love that artwork so much. Look at that artwork. Oh, look at that artwork. That artwork alone is in its own class. Some of these alternate arts are just killer. So anyway, Mihawk Jr. is Jinbe, who Jinbe's absolutely got points being taken off because he has Fishmen and Straw Hat Crew. He needed, in this instance, to have Fishmen and 7 Warlords of the Sea because he is a blue color, and it is very unfortunate that he cannot be played in a Straw Hat deck, and he has to be played in a 7 Warlord deck, and he cannot be played with 7 Warlord tribal keywords. It's very frustrating. But we're going to move on, because he is Mihawk Jr., and he's Mihawk Jr. because place 1 character with a cost of 3 or less, instead of that 7 or less that we loved a second ago, to the bottom of the owner's deck. And you can do this as a trigger. So yes, this is a wonderful card. I would play this card in most of my decks, because again, right now, sending cards to the bottom of the deck until we get really hardcore draw, really hardcore shuffle and search mechanics in this game, right now, bottom of the deck is the deepest, most far away thing that we can accomplish. So Jinbe, I would probably rank this really well. In fact, I'm going to make him up here. Bam! I'm going to say this is a must include in several decks. I'm going to say that at least get 1 copy of this card. You're going to enjoy having little Mihawk Jr. He's not a warlord, because there can only be 7, and apparently Jinbe is not one of them. But, yeah, he's great. Now, moving on, we got Smiley, and that's this little dude right here. Now, Smiley's okay. He's basically, I've heard people joking. I've heard some other YouTubers. He's what is it, Slifer the Sky Dragon, yeah, from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I can see that. That's kind of cute, because this is, Dawn, your turn. This character gains 1,000 power for every card in your hand. But this is going to require you have a lot of card draw. Very often you're going to be on the defense, because again, blue is defense. So you're going to be discarding cards for that 2,000 power off of your Mihawks, off of any of your cards, really. Anything you can do to defense. And because of that, I don't see you having a lot of cards in your hand with blue. You're going to constantly be in a race against yourself to get a whole bunch of cards in your hand. So Smiley is going to be one of those cards where you're going to be hoping you can get him up there, but you're still going to be putting more Dawn, and more Dawn on him. I think ultimately this card's going to be worth nothing, because he's going to be so much work, and this is going to be the first card I'm going to say is a 50. Now, of course, these tiers can change over time. I could change my mind, but right now, not very happy about it. In fact, again, the fact that he's searched by the Caesar Clown is the reason I put Caesar Clown so low. I don't like that. That's all it is. That's all it is. So we're going to look at the Don Quixote do Flamingo. A lot of people do prefer this artwork over this artwork, and I can kind of see why. The colors are a little more interesting, I think, actually, overall. And it's a 3 for 4,000. Now, this is nice because it only costs 1 Dawn in order to get him up to that 5,000. So it's basically like having a 4 for 5. The 7 Warlords of the Sea, Don Quixote Pirates. So he's good now. He's going to be good for time to come, because Don Quixote Pirates is probably going to be a theme in the future. On block... Sorry, he has blocker. After your opponent declares an attack, you may rest this card. So, yeah, exactly. He's a blocker, which is awesome. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Magic. Of top cards of your deck. Place them at the top or bottom of the deck in any order. This is a wonderful scry effect, if you will. And it's nice to be able to just cycle through your deck. Blue really needs that extra bit of control. So, this is a great card. I'm going to say it cannot do any wrong. That's what I'm going to say with it. You do not need it in your deck, but yeah, I would actually, I would probably play at least one or 2 copies of this in most decks, just because that is such a useful effect. So they have Pacifistas. have come out. Now let's see here. Have we basically finished with this page? It looks like we have. So coming down here, we do have, it's Bartholomew Kuma. That's who we have next. He is a member of the Revolutionary Army and a 7 Warlord of the Sea. He has blocker, which again, that is amazing. And he's a 5,000 blocker. That is amazing. On KO, play a Pacifista with cost 4 or less from your hand. Now you're going to want to be playing a Pacifista deck. For that reason, I'm going to say that this card is good in some cases, not few cases, but good in some cases. You're gonna want to be playing. This is good in some cases. Down here is good in few cases. So actually, I'm gonna put that down here, and then here we go. Good in few cases, and then just not good. Just not good is what I'm gonna say. And they're lonely. They're lonely. Look at that. They kept getting worse. The admirals got back to me. Their bounties dropped. Nobody cares. But Bartholomew Kuma, I would play him in a Pacifista deck. And Pacifista is kind of popular. It is this deck, which is 4 for 5, already a good power level. And it's got blocker, which is wonderful. You can have as many as you want in the game. So this is already a solid card. It is great in most cases. So we're going to give it 100 million. Now this, which is cool, because if you're going to be playing this anyway, then you may as well play the Bartholomew Kuma as well, because it's going to allow you to play your Pacifistas for free. So you're going to get the one blocker followed by the next blocker. So like, I would play the Pacifistas first, if you like need extra blockers. But if you're gonna get up to like more than 2, like if you're playing 3 or 4, then I would play 2 Bartholomew Kumas just to be able to spam out those extra Pacifistas. So that's something to think about right there. It's a good dawn saving efficiency. So that's why Bartholomew, I would say, is good in some cases, but not good in most cases, because you have to play the Pacifista first. So we have we do not say his name. He is scum. Perona, I'm a fan of this card. I'm a huge fan of this card. It is mana efficient. It's mana approved. It's 1 for 2,000, which is whatever. You're not going to be using this primarily as an attacker. It is 1 mana for, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and place them at the top or bottom of the deck in any order. Now, for its mana efficiency alone, I'm going to take Doflamingo down to here because he just got dethroned. And Perona, I'm going to say, is a must include, because the mana efficiency destroys Doflamingo, and that is just the way of things. Because you're paying 1 instead of 3, you can get that top 5 search off on the play, on the first turn. You already know what the top 5 cards of your deck were, or the bottom 5, and you didn't like any of them. Either way, you're looking really good for the rest of the game because you got that going. I don't even need to really read this card, but since I know everybody wants to take a look at her, let's take a look at the waifu taxed card, Boa Hancock. She is 5,000 power for 4. She is a blocker, which is, go figure, amazing. She is Dawn 1 when attacking and on the block, so you can do this when attacking and on the block. You can do it at all times. Draw a card if you have 5 cards or less in your hand. And that is something that's going to happen all the time in blue, and this is the kind of thing that's going to make Gecko Moria a good in most cases kind of card, but I still like him because you just got to play that draw. For Boa Hancock, I don't think it's any surprise. We're going to go ahead and throw her right here in the 100 million because I'm just playing, guys. She's actually going to be, she's going to be the second of our Yonko. She is going to have a 1 billion Alien Berri Bounty. She is a play 4 of in the deck. This Mihawk, he made it up here on style points alone. You can play 1 copy of him if you must. If you really don't want to play too many, you at least have to play 1. But Boa, oh my, play 4 in the deck. You're going to want to, especially until we get better draw cards. But this is a really good one. You have a defender as well. Plus, look at that artwork. That is just sick. Plus, it doesn't matter if you got this one. It's absolutely adorable too. But just look at the colors, the extra hearts in the background. The snake, absolutely cool. I love the artwork here. She is top tier. We have All Miss Sunday. We all know who that is, but until we have a card for her, she's just going to be called All Miss Sunday. She is 3 for 1,000. Now, I could be willing to pay that if she has a good effect. She is a blocker, which is nice. On KO, if your leader has the Baroque Works type, add 1 event from your trash to your hand. She is a great card. I absolutely love this card. I would just say she's good in few cases. You have to play Baroque. You have to play a lot of event cards. She is subpar. Do not play her in many decks. Only play her if you're playing, I would say, the mono blue Don Quixote or mono blue Crocodile. In fact, I'm not even sure about the Don Quixote one. Just mono blue Crocodile probably. So very few cases, and you need to load up on events. So, we also have a look at Miss Doublefinger Zala. 3 for 4,000. She has a counter of 1 blue, Baroque Works, and on KO, draw a card. That's all she is on KO. I don't like her. She's good in very few cases. She's not doing a lot for the deck. There's not a lot of ways to sacrifice, so can't make good use of that. The next card is Mocha, or Matcha. Mocha? I'm sorry. She's from Punk Hazard, and she's 3 for 5,000. This is... wow. Bam. That's cool as hell. I love that card. We'll go ahead and play that card in some of our decks. I like it. I wish it had an effect. I do. Its efficiency, though... so on turn 1... it'll always play on turn 2. That's the benefit. It will always play on turn 2. So I'm going to say it's good in most cases, but you don't have to play it in every deck. Sometimes the deck's going to get a little full, though, but it does play on turn 2 all the time. Minimum. There's no chance of it playing on turn 3 unless you did minus effects on your Dawn. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for now. Now, this is Monet. She's 2 for 3,000, and you can play this card on trigger. That's it. She's not doing a lot. I'm not going to end up playing her in any decks I can think of, unless there's a deck that comes out that's like, every time you play a trigger, then you do this. Then, maybe, until there's a whole bunch more triggers. We got Mr. 1, Daz Bonds. Was he the next one? He is the next one. He's Don 1, your turn. Your leader has the Baroque Works type. This character gains 1,000 for every other 2 events in your trash. This is a good card in the Baroque Works deck. I'm going to say he's good in some cases because he's naturally a good card just in those Baroque Work decks. So as the game continues to flesh out, he's going to become less and less, I think, and he's going to become more and more of a good in few cases kind of card. So be on the lookout for him losing tier in a future list. Mr. 2, Bon Clay, is going to be our next card, and he is 3 for 4,000. Now, I'm a fan of that because he's always going to play by turn 2. And he only needs 1 Dawn, and he's hitting at 5,000, so that's pretty cool. He does have a 2,000 plus, so this is also good points for him. When attacking, 1 cost Dawn, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal Baroque Works type event card, and add it to your hand. See, that's the problem. You are, of course, forced into tribal, again, specific tribal. I'm going to say this card is good in some cases. I like him for the 2,000. In fact, for the 2,000 and for his playability, I could probably up him. But it's the effect that's going to bring him down. It just really is. So, moving on, we have Mr. 3. Mr. 3, Mr. Wax Fruit. He is 2 for 3,000 on the play. If your leader has the Baroque Works type, select one of your opponent's characters with a cost 4 or less. The selected character cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. It's a very limiting power. It requires too much. I'm not playing it. What's next? Overheat. 2-cost event. Counter. Ooh, and it has a trigger. Trigger, return one card with cost 4 or less to the owner's hand. Ooh, I like that already. Your leader or one of your characters gains 4,000 during battle. That's nice. Then return 1 active character with a cost 3 or less. This does a lot of work for you. This is very much the heart of blue. You are a defense play here with Overheat. I'm going to say this is good in most cases. Actually, it can do no wrong. It can do no wrong. I like Overheat quite a lot for only 2 mana. 2 Dawn. Officer Agents. Play 1 Baroque Works type card with 3 or less from your hand. It forces that you play that. I don't like it. I'm not going to play Baroque Works forever. As the meta moves on, it's not going to continue to stay. Oh, I know the next card. Desert Spada. Desert Spada, guys. Oh, this card. This is a good card. The reason I like this card so much is because it's only 1. It only costs 1, my guys. So, what if you played that crocodile that said -1 on all events? It's free. There's going to be other blue cards that will say reduce the Dawn by 1. This is a powerful card. As a counter, your leader or one of your characters gains 2,000 power during this turn. So it costs 1 Dawn, sure. But you were going to discard a card anyway to gain 1,000, so why not discard this card plus a Dawn to gain 2,000? Then look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place them at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So you're scrying 3 cards on top of it. You're giving yourself knowledge and advancement in the draw. Then on the trigger, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. You're discarding 1. Yes, I do know. But that extra draw is going to come in handy, especially when you're also getting Desert Sparda's effects going off. It's just all around a good card. I'm going to put this one, I'm going to say it is 500 million right now. It is a must include. I would put this in just about every blue deck that I could build. In fact, until the meta changes, guys, I'm actually going to go ahead and say it is another one of our Yonko. It is a 1 billion level beyond great. It is just so cool. Until the meta changes, this is an absolutely must-play card in the game. Let's take a look here at the next card. Hi there. Did you want to be on camera? Hi, Ashley. Looks like we have ourselves a little stowaway, don't we, guys? Look at this little cute guy. So anyway, got to get back to it. So the next card that we're going to be taking a look at is... Here we are. Crescent Cutlass. The 7 Warlords of the Sea Baroque Works. Counter, if your leader has the 7 Warlords of the Sea type, again it is limiting you, return 1 character with cost of 5 or less to the owner's hand. I don't like this card. It limits you. I'm going to go ahead and put this down here. It's okay in certain decks. We currently have the decks that it requires you to play, but I'm not too big of a fan of it. All right, next up is going to be Baroque Works. It is another event for 1 cost, which makes it a good event in my opinion. I like low-cost events. It can play it on the first turn. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal 1 Baroque Works type card other than Baroque Works and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, you're going to have to play Baroque Works Tribe. So this is only good in certain circumstances, but in those circumstances, I'm going to say it's really good. So we're going to go ahead and give it 50 million. Saying that it's good in some cases. Now's our time to look at Crocodile. The 7 Warlords of the Sea Baroque Works. It is 4 for 5,000. This is wonderful for attacking. However, he is a blocker. That's what he's supposed to do. He gains blocker. That's what he does. He gains blocker. You kind of want your blockers to just be able to block without having to interrupt that ability. And even then, for the cost, you would either pay for a low-cost blocker or you would want a higher-costed one. This forces you to try to get to that 6,000. It's a blocker with extra steps, and I don't really like it too much. I would say it is... It's pretty D tier. Yeah, that's honestly, it's just not good. It's just not good. Whereas the Crocodile leader, on the other hand, boy, just being a leader pretty much puts him right there, doesn't it? Once per turn, Dawn -4. You may return the specified number of Dawn cards from your field to the Dawn deck. Return one character with a cost of 5 or less to the owner's hand. This is a great tempo control play. I can see this doing really well. The only thing is that you're going to wish that you could ramp a little bit. So it kind of does shoot itself in the foot. You're going to want to play a lot of low-cost blue. And if you play Crocodile, if you play this Crocodile, you may not even want to play the top-end Mihawk more than one copy if you're playing this guy. The Mihawk is more for the other blue options that you would play. But yeah, he is pretty good. I like him quite a lot, especially his art. He's the starter deck. He's easy to get your hands on. I recommend picking up every starter deck. They're all good. They're not great. They may not stick around in the meta for too long, but they're all good. Next, we get to turn this page and come up here. We're going to be talking about Edward Weevil. Now, there is a theory about this guy, which is kind of interesting, that he is actually the son of... Spoilers! No, we're not even going to go that way. So it's actually just a theory, so it's not even spoilers, that he is Blackbeard's son, which would be quite interesting. But he is 3 for 5,000. I do like that investment, but he's not full art, and that's why he's not going to cut it with Mocha here. Just the way of things. I don't like that this... It looks like he had an effect, and then they took it away because it was too good for the current meta. And I think that that's what a lot of these cards were. Otherwise, they would have gotten full arts. I think these were cards that at the last second had their effect got pulled, and that kind of saddens me. Especially when we talk about our next card. Well, not our next card. Future cards down the line, I should say. Whereas our next card... Oh, this is the good one. This is the Crocodile that you should be playing. I don't know why more people aren't playing this card. He is 5 for 6,000, so your opponent is going to have to get your guy up more than that in order to hit Crocodile. He's going to have to go up at least one. He is a blocker, and on the block, you can place one character that costs 2 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So not only is he a blocker, but he is removal on that block. I absolutely like this card. I like it because of that double block kind of mentality, where basically, what if your opponent's playing red and your opponent's playing aggressive tempo, where they throw a bunch of Dawn onto Usopp, and that Usopp is supposed to be unblockable, right? Well, first they attack with Sanji, or first they attack with Zoro, or first they attack with Jinbe. You get to block that with Crocodile, and then you removed that Usopp problem. Now, granted, Usopp probably, well, he would have just been no threat because he can attack through blockers, but everybody else still has to worry about blockers. So yeah, I like this Crocodile. I like it because it removes problems. I'm going to say that he is pretty much sitting up here with himself. I could see why you wouldn't play him in every deck, but he cannot do wrong. He's not a must include, but he cannot do wrong. Another Gecko Moria hits our tier lists. He is 4 for 5,000. That's already doing really well in his favor. He is a 7 Warlord of the Sea and Thriller Bark Pirates. I'm excited to see Thriller Bark Pirates because that might be a fun tribal later on, kind of like a zombie reanimation tribal later on, and maybe it's going to be blue-black, and that'd be kind of cool too. On play, add 1, the 7 Warlords of the Sea or Thriller Bark Pirates type character with a cost of 4 or less other than Gecko Moria from your trash to your hand. So this means he cannot target other Gecko Morias as well because it is a name, not a name-specific card. Aside from that, I like this card. It's good for revival. It brings cards back to your hand, but it's not going to do well all the time. I would say it's good in some cases. So he's going to find a little home right here in the 50 million. Now, I've seen him in a lot of the decks that are currently out there, but I'd like to remind people that the reason he's currently in a lot of decks is because we're very limited on card pool. And with our limited card pool, there's only going to be so many cards that people are going to play. And when you look at those tribe names, then yes, Gecko Moria does get better. But over time, I don't see him getting any higher than what this is right here. I think he's going to pretty much level out, if not go lower over time, unless his tribe starts to kick off really, really hardcore. Our next card is Starter Deck Mihawk. This card is such a surprise. You need to buy 2 blue decks if you're going to get a playset of this card, and I highly recommend that you do. Honestly, you should be buying 2 of all of the starter decks. This is a must include in every blue deck, and this is just a must include. There's nothing wrong with this card. He's 4 for 5,000, which is already terrific. When he attacks, draw 2 cards, trash 2 cards. You're cycling your hand really efficiently, and you can discard him for 2,000. He does everything you want him to do. Why are you complaining, Kevin? So Jinbe is another one. Now, this is probably I guarantee that this had a really cool effect like the other Jinbe, but they took the effect off because it says 7 warlords. And I'm telling you, this is me on my soapbox, that is what's going on here. He is 2 for 4,000. I'm disappointed in this card because it was promising me something and then it took it away at the last second. I'm sad. Now, the next one, we have a dude named Sentomaru. This guy, he's 3 for 4,000. On your turn, once per turn, pay 1 Dawn. You may rest the specified number of Dawn cards in your cost area. Play 1 Pacifista with a cost of 4 or less from your deck. Then shuffle your deck. This is what's going to make so much good in your deck. This is like the only shuffle engine I think that we currently have. So this is actually the only deck I can see of that can go toe-to-toe with a Mihawk strategy and throwing things to the bottom of the deck. This is Sentomaru, and I think that this card should be respected, but it's only good in some cases. Good in most cases? No, good in some cases, because it's only good if you're playing Pacifistas. Bartholomew Kuma is great, but it's better if you're playing Pacifistas. Pacifistas are just great. Like, play 10 for all you care. I mean, like, those are the only blockers you really need, to be fair. They really are. Next is Law. We all know. Law's up here. He would be up here even if we didn't read his card. So we're not going to. But we're going to. He's 1 for 1,000. He sucks. But he's a blocker. He's amazing. Play him in all your decks. He's a must include. He's a blocker for 1. That tastes nice. Got Doflamingo, Don Quixote, Doflamingo. Now this guy I've seen played in 1 deck at local tournaments. The 7 Warlords of the Sea and Don Quixote Pirates. On play, return 1 character with a cost of 7 or less to the owner's hand. This is not deck. This is not as good as Mihawk, but it's good. I would play this in a lot of decks. I would say it can't really do wrong. Its mana efficiency could be a little better, and I could see it dropping down over time. But for right now, I'm happy with that. We do have another Bartholomew Kuma, and this one is, on trigger, you can play this card. He's only 2 for 3,000. He's a 7 Warlord of the Sea, Revolutionary Army. On play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then return them to the top or bottom of the deck in any order. This is okay. It's fine. It's basically Perona with the trigger, but he costs more. But it's basically Perona with a trigger. And for that reason, I could see it being good. I just don't like it for its mana inefficiency. I'm going to put it down here. Plus, it's not Perona. So that's why it's down there. It's not Perona. Buggy's up here. Nah, I'm just playing. Buggy, we're going to actually put down here. Buggy's down here, and we all know why. Don't have to really go into it. But we will. Our Lord and Savior is 1 for 3,000. The Immortal Master gives a bonus of 1,000. And let's be honest here. We don't deserve any power from this card. Whatever Buggy's willing to give, that's right, Daddy. We'll take it. So, this card's amazing. Absolutely love it. Buggy the Clown Man. Must include in every blue deck. Why aren't you playing him? Bartholomew Kuma. Now, this is actually Pacifista. This is not the actual... So, for a second there, I keep forgetting that the real dude can't shoot lasers out of his mouth. He's 4 for 6,000. He's a biological weapon. He's a member of the Navy. I like that. I dig that. He's the first Navy, I think. No, was Sentomaru Navy as well? I don't remember. Let me look at that. Sentomaro? Navy. So we got Navy. We got a few Navy. Not a lot right now, though. We know that there's a preview promo that could be black, that could be a Kanu, but we don't know that yet, do we? Do we? This guy's okay. If you're playing the Pacifista, I would go with it. But I'm not going to put him in my deck. I'm going to put him in some decks. I'm going to put him in some decks, which would be down here. You basically got to play... You got to play Sentomaro in order to make this card really worth my while. I do like that it's 4 for 6,000, and I have rated 4 for 6,000 pretty well, but it's not a full art, and again, there was an effect there. So I feel like that effect being taken away from me is like you're just slapping me in the face. You're like, this card was going to be cool. It had something going. And at the last minute, we were like, don't want you to have that. We don't want you to have that. We can't trust you with your toys. Boa Hancock from the starter deck. She's got waifu points, but that's about it that's going for her. She's 3 for 1,000. 7 Warlords of the Sea, Kuja Pirates. She's got blocker, and you can play this trigger. I am not going to play this card. Goodbye. Next on the list, we have Marshall D. Teach. He's 4 for 4,000. I've been seeing 1 or 2 decks play around with this guy, and I like him. You return 1 card with cost 3 or less to the owner's hand. I like him. You are returning a card at the same time. That's usually a blocker, which is going to be a problem. I would put him in, I'm going to say some cases. Like, I'm not going to play him all the time, but if I need something in that 4 slot and I don't have anything else, and I just want removal options as well, he's all right. Now, we do have 3 more cards, it looks like, so I'm going to go ahead and just blast through this. I know we've been playing for a while here. This is a longer video, and I am sorry about that, guys, but I want to thank you all for joining me. This is Sables. Now, it is 4 event mana, 4 event. Return 1 character with a cost of 7 or less to the owner's hand, and you get to activate this card on trigger. So, I'm not sure I'm a fan of it being a 4 cost. I know that I would play Mihawk, but you're getting the 9,000 power out of that as well. I don't like this. It's a little too costed for me. I would play it in a few decks, but really only if I'm not playing a creature. I'd rather probably play a body as well. I'm going to play it in... I'm going to play it in some cases. I'm going to play it in some cases if I really need a little extra removal in the deck. Thrust Pad Cannon is a 2 event counter. You have to play it on counter. Return 1 character with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand, and this card can be played on the trigger. For that reason, I actually like this card pretty well. I would put this in most decks. Again, it is a trigger, which is the reason I am liking it. And we're going to be moving on to our final card, which is going to be the Love Love Mellow. Now, this is a 2 cost with a counter. Your leader and one of your characters gain 4,000. I love a 4,000 boost. Then draw 1 card. If you have 3 or less cards in your hand, it is also going to replenish your hand. This is a wonderful card. I would play this. It's from the starter deck. I'm going to put it in most of my decks. I'm going to say you cannot go wrong with this card in just about any blue deck. And if we're going to go ahead and round this up and do a 4 Yonko like we should, then I'm going to go ahead and say that this Mihawk is also one of our 4. So these are our 4 Emperors of Blue right now. We're looking at the 9-drop Mihawk, the Boa Hancock, the Desert Spada, and the starter deck Mihawk. So honestly, I would probably say that our Mihawk is the ultimate winner of the game because he scored twice, and that means he has double the territory. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun. I'm sorry it took so long, but I want to appreciate all you guys who hung in there and sat through the entire thing. Again, if you like my opinions, then go ahead and leave a like down below and hit the subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on all topics about TCG, and I'm going to continue doing more talks with One Piece colors and deck building in the future. You can also stay tuned to the channel if you want to hear more about One Piece or Magic the Gathering. I'll also be covering that. I'll talk about cards that I'm purchasing, the market, and how things are going in the meta game. If you don't like my opinions, then tell me that down below as well. As always, it's been wonderful, and until next time, guys, I hope you have wonderful sailing.